What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the YouTube Barber Academy. Why am I sitting here with no shirt? Because I'm feeling myself. I just got a great workout in and I feel like a fucking savage. And I hope that this inspires you to do the same. Because, man, it's been a while. I lifted myself up. I get in the gym and I grind every day and I find other ways to grind and to get it done. I have no tripod. I'm missing half of my stuff, but I'm going to knock out this voiceover for you and I'm going to guide you through this cut where I actually fell behind during this day. I had 20 minutes to get it done. So this is kind of a continuation on my video where I was trying to explain to you guys that I do think the Apex is probably the best clipper going right now, and I'm going to show you why. So I also told you everything is left at home, but I happen to have my Snap FX here and a pack of cards, and I'm gonna show you guys a couple little things that can help you improve your consistency and get your cut game strong so that you can get a cut like this done in 20 minutes, which, let's face it, there's a couple of things that I could have cleaned up further if I had a little bit more time, but this is a solid cut, enhanced, faded, on some really, really difficult hair to cut. You guys have seen him before, my man Jaden. So, let's get it. Baby Savage, get out of here. You can't be here while I'm doing this, all right? Don't touch the computer, please. All right. He's only one, just turned one yesterday. He don't know, he's a savage, he don't care. Hopefully, I got the kids settled, kinda. All right, so here we go. We got the number 3. We're moving with the grain because I need to knock out some of this bulk. And then I'm gonna follow up with the number 2, going against the grain, and I'm trying to stay kind of low. It's really important. You see his hair is actually really fine and it's kind of thin, to be honest, but it's very curly. So this is like the worst challenge you could have only 20 minutes to do. But I'm gonna knock out some of the bulk, and the main thing is I gotta keep some weight up here because if you take that too high, he's gonna look totally bald. So I can't have that. Now we're actually gonna put the skin line in with the skin clipper. Now the only purpose of this machine is to remove bulk, and I put the slim cutter in there. So this is the shallow tooth cutter, and it cuts super duper close. All right, so we're just gonna remove the bulk, and I actually started in the back because I wanted to just see exactly what it was gonna do, how much it was gonna cut off, and then I'm gonna transfer that over to the sides. We are going to curve the skin line because that's kind of how I wanna shape my blend. So this is a real critical step. I call this phase 1. This is removing the bulk, using the electric shaver, and getting all that gone so that we can get into our next step. And in this case, we're gonna use a little clipper over comb, shear over comb, and I'm gonna show you guys a couple little tips here when we get into the blend using this pack of cards and this clipper. But shaping that skin line is very important. I like to see it curved because I wanna preserve a little bit of edge, and I'm going to do an enhancement, and I'm gonna use the pencil at the end because, you know, I'm a G like that, I guess. No, I'm just playing, but for real, it looks nice when I do it on him. It really brings out his lineup. So anything the skin clipper didn't cut off, we're gonna follow it up with the trimmer. I'm gonna knock the trimmer out. Just that little hairs around the ear, use what's smart, and we're gonna jump over to the Rebel. And if you don't know, the Rebel is the fastest electric shaver in the game. And one of the things about using the skin clipper is it cuts the hair so close that there's not much work left over when you go with this electric shaver. So the less work that there is left over, the faster this process is gonna go. And the way I see it is if I'm using the Rebel electric shaver, I'm probably shaving off a good 2 to 3 minutes to do this versus any other electric shaver, which means that over the course of the day, I'm just saving a ton of time, the week, the month, the year. I mean, just think about it. This is a cheap electric shaver that performs really good. So as you notice, we have Apex number 1, and this one has the taper blade on it. And I got the taper blade in the open position, and I'm just gonna circle the whole head, and I'm gonna put a guideline in about the width of my finger, maybe a little bit thicker, and I'm kind of losing my pressure at the top. But this is case in point number 1. If I put this in the open position, and I make sure that I hold it flat at one point, I can scoop out towards the top, but it is critical, it is important that I actually get down to that length that I'm trying to get down to, because otherwise, what's the purpose of guards? What's the purpose of following a process? What's the purpose of any of it, right? You have got to hold it flat. You got to get down to that manufactured recommended distance. Now, what you're gonna notice with a taper blade is it's curved, and that's really going to help you start to skip into those next steps, because as you kind of tip the clipper off the head, it's going to begin that portion of the blend for you. But it's also important that you hold it real flat. So next step, number 1, as you can see, I went 2 clicks open, 1, 2, and I'm going to repeat that exact same process all the way around the head. And I am going to just be putting in guidelines at this point, and I don't think there's a single person out there that would struggle with what we've done so far. Just putting in guidelines, and that's it. So we're keeping a loose hand at the top, but again, we're making sure that we get it flat. And the packet of cards with the Bills logo on it is coming back for another tip, so stay tuned when we actually start to remove these guidelines, because I got some fire tips for you guys to really get those skin lines out. And, it was so nice seeing the Bills whoop on them Rams. It's going to be a good season, I got a feeling, and I'm looking forward to it. Who's your favorite team? Drop it in the comments, and let's keep it going. So, as you can see, I've circled the whole block with this. Now, I'm going to go with the number 2. I'm going to go 2 clicks open, 1, 2, boom, boom, and I'm going to begin kind of trying to fit it into the top. I want that area of the parietal ridge on down to start looking a little smoother and start looking a little bit more connected. So in thin hair and in fine hair, oftentimes you will be able to skip a step. Notice how I was supposed to go to the 1 1/2, right? But I didn't. I skipped to the 2. Sometimes I might even skip to the 3. And skipping to the 2 was the right move in this case, because it actually started to make the blend look pretty good. And then I can go back with the 1 1/2, and I can be that much more careful. Because once you take out thin hair and you remove the bulk, you're screwed, because all that darkness is going to be gone with it. So yeah, as we remove that bulk, as we get rid of that bulk little by little, you'll be able to see what to do. You can take a couple of passes with the grain just to see what that will do. In general, cutting with the grain is going to cut a lot less hair, but it can also help lay down those curls and remove some of those dark spots. So it's kind of like, I sometimes will just test it one way and the other way with this type of hair. So we're getting pretty close to start the removal of the guidelines, because as of this point, all we've really been doing is putting in guidelines. One of the main keys, that's a 5-0 line that I did with that skin clipper, and that skin clipper's got a really harsh line in it, so I want the clipper that can cut the closest. I have my fusion blade on, I have it 0 gapped, and the way that I'm gonna knock out this bottom line is not by simply holding it straight horizontally like this. I'm actually going to tip it and I'm going to lift it. So I'm actually only touching down one corner at a time, especially for that bottom part. There's a few reasons for this. One, how wide is this clipper's blade? All right. If I make a mistake this wide, it's going to be that much harder to fix. If I make a mistake this wide, it's not going to be difficult to fix, and I'm probably not going to make that mistake. So even though we only have 20 minutes and we got to get this done, be patient in only using that corner. See how that corner is just barely poking above that box? That's kind of what I'm doing to remove this skin line. And then I'm going to begin opening it literally. I'm going to begin opening it literally 1 click at a time. And I'm going to repeat that process. 1 click at a time, repeat that process. You're going to see that that harsh skin line is going to dissolve like magic. And you are going to also have your taper blade to return back to. So that taper blade can be almost a substitute for your half guard. And between the half guard, the taper blade, and the fusion blade, you're going to have every length that you need, and you're going to be able to hit them all. So one of the things you're going to notice too, in the way we set ourselves up, we really connected the top well. So really we're back in that area, the trenches. The area that's going to be the most difficult to fade is usually just right above the ear, because that's the part of the hair where the head normally has a little concave right there. So even when you do everything right, there's still going to be a shadow there, and it really just depends how the light catches it. So most of the time I wind up cutting it a little bit shorter. Yo, it's a monsoon happening outside here. So if there's any line left, we're going to head back with the trimmer. We're going to flick that out and we're going to remove it. So it's that simple. We've gotten rid of the most harsh skin line. The most difficult part of this haircut is done with. I'm going to return with the taper blade because there's a few spots that could use a little bit of love. But before that, my boy Mo Cuts, he gave me one of his shears that's curved, and I absolutely love it. So I kind of picked out this hair, didn't show it, and I'm just going to go through. I'm using the inside of my shear, the bottom part of the shear, to kind of shape up the top of his cut. He wanted to leave the length, but I just didn't want to leave a bunch of hair sticking out. Now, before we do this lineup, we can't do the lineup into a ton of bulk right here, so we're going to do a little bit of a front fade. I actually have a number 2 on. I have it open, and I'm moving down with the grain. And as you can see, I can kind of see the silhouette had some funny hair sticking out, so I could pretty much take that wherever I want. It's not going to impact the length of the top, especially if I'm coming with the grain. And more importantly, I'm going to get the very front of that hair a little bit shorter so that when I do the edge up, 1, it doesn't look like a big bushy edge up. 2, it actually takes the edge up without too much more of a fight. So as we talked about in the edge up phase, which I believe was phase 5, we're gonna start from the center, we're gonna move out to the corners. Now, one of the things that I do is if a client has a noticeable problem, let's say they have a high side and they have a low side, always start on the low side if they have that. Now, Jaden hair, his hair is pretty good, so I'm gonna start on the center, work my way out, square that off, work my way out, square that off, and always use the shears. Always use the shears to really square off them corners. It's a little bit better than using the trimmer, and it will make it look really, really boxy and crisp. So that's one of my edge up tips. Number 1, that's one of my favorite little tips to use. So then I'm gonna push all that hair that could be hanging out, any of the overhang, I wanna get it gone. Now notice, I got the taper blade out, and the taper blade is amazing. Like, you can go up into lengths that you shouldn't have no business being in, and you're not gonna make mistakes with this. So I'm gonna play with the lever, open it, close it a little bit, and make sure that I keep it on that angle, and you're gonna see that you're gonna be able to pretty much smooth out any curl, any dark spot, and you can really continue to finagle this more than I did. But again, I had 20 minutes. I had to make do with what I was doing, because a lot of times I film videos specifically to make a video out of them, and then sometimes I'm just like, yo, this cut would be nice, let me just throw a camera on it and let's make it happen. So say what you gotta say in the comments. This is a fire cut for 20 minutes, all right? So I'm gonna go through there, and I'm actually gonna throw a little bit of a design in. As you guys can see, the Saber trimmer, it just hits real nice. Now, his hair is like I said, it's gonna have a bunch of little overhang hair, so you're gonna see me kind of comb that down and catch all those overhang hairs. And all we're doing is putting one little curved line in it, and we're getting pretty close to throwing in our enhancements. I have my Essence razor from Titulus. If you guys want to check out that razor, it's super expensive, super high quality, the best quality razor you can get. And the link is in the description of that. It's like $380, but you will save some money if you use the code Eddie. And after I'm done using the razor, I always will go back and catch all that overhang with my trimmer. So any little overhang there is. Now, I got the Tomb 45 no drip. And also, I wanted to warn you guys, I am testing a new spray. I'm testing a new air gun. A company just sent me an air gun, and they think that they got the best one. And so far, I'm really, really liking it. So you guys are gonna have to check out this video once it's complete. But little by little, I've been testing it. This gun has been great, the one that you see in the video. However, it does tend to splatter a little bit, which I don't like, but it always sprays strong. So it's kind of like a give and take. So I'm gonna enhance the top part of this little line that I just threw in. And then we're gonna go through with the Tomb 45 pencils. All right, I'm gonna be honest, at first, I never really was much like into using pencils. I didn't really know that much about them, but since Tomb 45 sent me those pencils, and especially the nude color really, really sets it off, and it seems to do that with practically everybody. So I'm gonna run through here and just do a little shear over comb. I didn't really capture that because we gotta keep these videos short for the little attention spans that the people of YouTube have. I know a lot of you guys got good attention spans, and if you're still here, man, I appreciate you guys so much. And if you wanna consider becoming a member, it's $4.99 a month. You will get access to exclusive content as soon as it's done. I try to release it to the members, and I will be sharing vlogs and going lives privately just for members only. So other than that, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the cut. I hope that you learned something here today. This is the YouTube Barber Academy. I'm Mr. Eddie Barber, and I'm out of here, man. Get your workouts in, get your grind on, and you know what I'm saying? Do something that you don't feel like doing today. Let me inspire you to do something that you don't feel like doing today. All right, you guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.